Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is that time of the week once again where we're going to go through everything that's happened anime this week, or at the very least, the top 10 things. And I'll be honest, this week has been a bit of an upset for it because my list is kind of all over the place, and I had something below a 5 this week, which is disappointing as shit. I'm going to give it my dishonorable mention for the week, and that was I spent 300 years killing slimes and hit max level. Because this week, their episode was a wedding episode. We're focusing on the Spirit of Pines, which is all about marriage. Except nobody wanted to get married, so hey, it's okay, we do sister commitment ceremonies. So we're going to get the 2 little girl slime spirits to have a wedding. It's creepy as shit. Don't marry children. Don't marry siblings either. But don't marry children. But we're gonna move straight away from that creepy ass shit. We're gonna get straight into our top 10, starting up with Go Go Loser Ranger. This week we got to see some ramifications because the other world is gone now, and it's time for Chidori to get checked out because, hey, Canon doesn't remember who we are. Chidori sure as fuck does. And we got to see I don't think before today we'd seen the Yellow Ranger's special item, but we got to see a remote that pauses and rewinds time. And that's dope as shit. Didn't work too well for her, but it's still a dope as shit as an idea. But Chidori has been using the Eyes of Greed on our main man, and he doesn't really seem to care. Like, you'd think he'd be a bit pissed off that this guy is an evil alien trying to kill off him and his group, and he just could not give a shit. Which, I respect that about Chidori. Up next in our number 9 slot is Fire Force. And this week's episode, there were some great things in it. Don't get me wrong. It kind of just was a bridging episode, which I feel like makes sense for episode 7, I want to say. But this week we got somebody finally got the bugs off of Captain Obi, which somebody could have done that like 2 weeks ago. But we got to see the fallout of the doppelganger getting Captain Burns. I'm trying to remember names. There's a lot of names going on at the moment. We got to see that. We got to see the Sailor Moon knockoff come through. That's Moonlight Mask, I think is what he calls himself. And he comes in, starts fucking everything up. And it's a bit obvious who he is, but it's still great fun. Yeah. We're seemingly lining up to have District 8 and its allies. Sorry, not District. Yes, District? Company 8. Company 8 and its allies squaring off with the rest of the Fire Force. We also got to see the 5th Company's captain, whose name is escaping me right now, go back to where she came from to try and investigate the doppelgangers, because apparently somebody back there knows. And we got to see that the sister that raised her and Iris is still alive somehow, even though we thought her and all the other sisters got killed in a fire. Yeah. It's a bridging episode. It was still fun. Next up is a new one, though. Because this hasn't been top 10 before, or top 5 when we were doing that. We have Food for the Soul. And Food for the Soul is one of my favorite little cute girls doing cute things animes. This show is, we tried to make a club so we could have a club room just to hang out in, until we found out, hey, we actually have to participate in activities. And this week we got to see the ramifications of putting on too much weight, and then the ramifications of wanting to lose the weight too much. Because our main girl just got a little bit too obsessed with her weight because she couldn't put on a skirt. And I know this happens to a lot of people, both male and female and everything in between. But yeah, it's really nice to see like the supportive attitude that comes through the friends. Like our little sheepish tiny chick down in the corner, which you can't see if you're in vertical, really didn't like the idea of going to the gym. But when she found out that our main girl is going through all of this shit, she's like, hey, it's okay. We will start eating in moderation. We will start exercising in moderation. I will keep coming to the gym with you. And it's great to see. We also got to see them absolutely demolish like 7 plates of food that was brought to them at a hamburger joint. And that was fun as shit. But yeah, this has been a fun little trip. And it's... so far, it hasn't let me down. Every week it's been consistently like just below the top 10. But it's been a great watch. Up next, though, something else that... actually, this one did kind of let me down this week. We have... ooh, wrong one. Damn it. Sorry, guys. We have Classic Stars. Classic Stars this week is also dealing with Fallout. Because last week, we found out that, hey, you guys got 11th. You're not going into the next round. This week, we got to find out that Beethoven can get the operation on his eye to make him be able to fight again. Mozart finds this out and is not a happy camper. But they basically go off to go on a onsen retreat and storm off in the middle of a storm. Because of this, we get to see some great character moments between the two of them. Because it's a, hey, you're assuming that just because I can get this shit fixed means that I want to, because my ring isn't boxing anymore, it's music. So let's go fuck some assholes up with music. We found out that Discord, the band from the very start of the show that rocked these guys in the last episode, are actually their upperclassmen who basically were this before them. And I really like that idea. These are also people with the gift, but these are the people that weren't considered right by their society. And I like the fact that they've made that a thing in their universe. Also, there was your generic onsen shit. It has to happen in every show, I suppose. After this, though, is the real upset for the week, because we have beer. We have Catch Me at the Ballpark. I always have this labeled as beer because that's what we're talking about. And I remembered to take notes this week. So instead of just trying to pop them into my head, I know what the 3 things we did were. The first one was vocal training, where it's, hey, we want you to practice these phrases because they're going to pop up all the time while you're out there. Which, it was fun. It was mostly just, it's funny watching Rokaru, I think was her name, wrap her head around the fact that, hey, I am actually saying these things all the time. Except the last one was a bit of a stretch because it wasn't actually what they were told to say, but what they were told to say was actually something in English, and it makes no sense that they'd be saying it anyway. After that, we had one of the rare not about this girl parts, though actually I think that's pretty much all of the middle parts now that I think about it. This one was from one of the young baseball players' perspectives, who feels a bit ostracized by all the other people that he works with, and realized because he went to have lunch and nobody else was around, he got informed that, hey, you know that the athlete lunch and the rest of the staff lunch, we have rice coming from the same place. So obviously we're all connected. And it's like, that's a bit of a stretch, but hey, he enjoyed it. And our third part was about a photo shoot that was done on our main girl, and also our main food stand worker, but we're not talking about her. they were in a photo shoot, and yeah, she got really excited and kind of nervous about it. And all of the other beer girls were watching her kind of nervously flirt-ish with the sleepy dude. I'm terrible at remembering names. Yeah, this has consistently been one of the best shows. This is probably its weakest week. You know what didn't have a weak this week? That was too many weeks. Apocalypse Hotel, where we started the episode by being told that the Tanukis are leaving. Yeah, they're just moving down the road. We had another alien pop in who is a cat kangaroo, which led to a fucking excellent line. He's an apocalyptic event of himself, but he only attacks worlds with over a certain level of civilization. This world obviously didn't have that anymore. But he has a fake Avengers come after him, which had like a doctor who can use magic, a guy that's wielding a hammer who's their dumb guy. We had the obvious leader who had a shield, and I cannot remember the fourth guy for the life of me, which basically just means he's the Hulk. No, it means he's the Hawkeye. Let's be real here. But when there seemed to be somewhat of a romance blossoming between this kangaroo cat and our main robot girl, and then he just pisses off, which leads to the little Tanuki girl yelling at him and calling him a pussy kangaroo. And it was such a great line. As an Australian, I appreciate it so much. Though if you actually called a kangaroo a pussy and it understood what you were saying, you would get killed. Let's be real here. After this, though, I need to move my notebook so I can actually see. We have Summer Pockets, which is another new thing to the list, and I do not know what they're doing next week. Genuinely have no fucking clue. So this is the show of a guy that goes back to a dreary island. This is actually based on a visual novel, I think. He goes back to this dreary island to help his, I want to say, aunt clean up some relatives' belongings. And as a get, he hasn't done a fucking second of that. He has been spending the time exploring the island, meeting the cute girls on it, because, of course, it's a visual novel. And in recent episodes, he's been helping our raven-haired lady down the front find her pirate ship. And that's been great, except for the fact that she disappeared. She disappears, and we find the suitcase at a later bit, but we find out that her mum actually owns an island nearby. Except the daughter's not on it. The daughter has recently died in Europe somewhere, in a hospital, because she's been weak since she was born. But she went on a camp when she was younger with these other characters, and the mum made her adventures and her stories into a book, and the main character got to send out letters to all the people that had sent in letters about the book to everyone, inviting them to come to the pirate ship. And this was a finale episode. I don't know what they're doing for the other half of the season, and all I can think is this is one of the branches. The other half of the show is going to be, hey, we're going to restart and do another branch, as visual novels do, but I don't know how that works as a TV show. Not in the slightest. What I can understand is, can a boy-girl friendship survive? And consistently, this show just hits me hard. This week, we got to see the ramifications, this is the big ramifications week, of the school finding out that Yu is making the jewelry. And this has led to people coming and asking for custom orders, which the first pair that do it, they're really cute with it. He gives them some old lady flower, which has... it's not like passionate love. It's long, determined love that's like, hey, this isn't the kind of thing that's just going to flame out. We're going to be through this forever. And that's great. I wanted to slap the shit out of one of the characters in this episode, though, because he gets called into the principal or a teacher's office at one point and told, hey, this girl's mum said that she'd been forced or extorted into buying this expensive ass jewelry, and now she's blowing up the school for letting it happen. And it turned out that this girl had been told, hey, if you buy the jewelry from this place, then it increases your chance of the guy you like asking you out. And she was absolutely raging about it. They called her a fucking Karen, which, but I wanted to slap the shit out of her. She's dragging this man's name through the mud. She threw the jewelry he made into the mud, literally. Fucking no. If memory serves, Hamari actually does slap her, which is great. But yeah, this was an episode. But we are up to our penultimate episode, which is Windbreaker. This week we got to see the Red Light District. I'm pretty sure we also got to see a group that is essentially the adult Furin, who Furin has beefed with before. But it's basically just like these guys are all trying to work together to better the Red Light District. They're all adults, and it's just like, yeah, I want when these guys graduate, I want them to join this group. We also found out that these guys operate a show bar where there's singers come through. There's also pole dancers coming through because, you know, it's a red light district. It's what happens. Which is when we find Tsubaki dancing on the pole. And Tsubaki is a muscle mummy if ever there fucking was one. But yeah, it's... I fucking love it. This was just such a fun episode. We got to see an absolute beatdown. There were some points during the fight, because this show doesn't do like one-on-one fights. It's, hey, there's guys coming at you from every direction. At one point, we got to see Sakura flip over somebody, and then it switched to the guy behind him's perspective, who just gets kicked straight up the chin. And they're always just like, you're getting a second of this guy's perspective and a second of this guy's. And it's just so well done. Like, the cinematography is amazing for something that doesn't have actual cameras. But this is going to bring us to our final thing of the week. And as always, it's To Be Hero X. Where this week we got to see... This is episode 3 of the arc, which means we've only got one more before we move on to a new character. And we got to see new Isol versus old Isol. And there are some things that went absolutely amazing in this episode. We were constantly flashing between a 2D and 3D style of animation, which is weirdly well done, because it's very difficult to do that properly. But on top of that, we got to get introduced to some ideas, like the fact that old Isol was losing favor because he was fighting defensively and trying not to fuck this kid up, which that's really shitty. But when one of them died, because technically we don't know which one did. We can assume, but we don't know. Their favor merged together, and that's how they could tell there was only one of them still alive. I didn't think they were going to kill one of them off. I thought they were going to be like a battle to failure, but nope. one of them's dead. We also got to find out that the cafe owner that's been helping young Esol out, he seems to be right up there in something of the Syrup hero world. This show also unlocked a primal fear in me because we saw the two like hench dudes that have been going through this arc getting dipped in concrete. And I didn't realize how scared of that I was until I saw people getting dipped in concrete. But that's going to do it for this week. I hope you're all enjoying this season as much as I am. If you are, let me know what your favorite thing this week was in the comments below. Give us that thumbs up, hit that sub button, and I will see you all next week. Bye for now.